Good morning, my Saturday morning connectors. It's a great day. It's a great morning. It's a great year. It's a great moment. Keep believing, keep hoping, keep hope alive. Live from the new studios, the Marketplace Connection is on the air. I want you to leap into your destiny, upgrade your thinking, expand your capacity because God wants to give you more. You are more than what you have become. Well, good morning, my Saturday morning connectors. Now, let me tell you, I am so glad to be back here with you. I am so glad to be back in front of the camera welcoming my Saturday morning connectors. I missed you guys. I hope you missed me. So I am so happy to be back with you. And I am your host, Linda Hunt, your host connector. And we are here every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And I just want to welcome you. If you're a first-time guest, you're a first-time listening in, I want to welcome you to the most fabulous show on the WON network, the Marketplace Connection. We have been around for going on almost 6 years. Can you believe that? And we have had so many guests that have come and sat in this chair and they have shared with us. And that's what we do. For those of you that don't know, because I know we probably have a lot of new viewers because we got a most fabulous guest here with us today. And so for those of you, if you're joining for the first time, that's what the Marketplace Connection is all about. We bring people from every genre of society that comes, that bring you tips and ideas on how you can function better in the marketplace. And for particularly those of you that are in the four walls of the church, we want you to know that you have gifts, callings, and I put this on my page the other day. You know, live full and die empty, okay? Because God wants you to take every gift that you have and He wants you to use it to the glory of God. So when you leave here, you left here with no regrets and you left here empty, okay? So today, I have this wonderful woman of God that I have on several occasions because she is so full. And every time I learn something from her, she comes out with something new. And I'm telling you, I tell people, you don't know what you don't know until you know Sylvia. Sylvia Hubbard has so much on the inside of her. And that's what I'm talking about. She is full. She is full of she is so full of knowledge when it comes to the area of literary. And so I want to welcome this woman today,
So
Sylvia
sweet.
Hubbard. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's so weird when people say like, "Oh my God, you know so much," and it's like it feels like I don't know enough, and I'm just constantly like, I guess you say eating more.
That's it.
I'm hungry for knowledge because it's like I just need to know everything. So.
Amen. Amen. Well, see, that's what I'm talking about, living full.
Yeah.
See, you are so full and you never stop learning. That's the thing about you.
Yeah.
You're so full, but yet you got room for more. You know, you're expanding. You know, I mean, you about you more than 9 months pregnant. You about
like an elephant. I'm trying to aim for a whale.
You are more than 9 months pregnant. Girl, you done passed the bar, you know.
Right. It's always been a dream. Like, it's always been a need of mine to know everything and understand it. I do have to thank my dad because every time we would ask him something, you know, he'd point over to the encyclopedias, you know, and then not only would we have to go and find it in the encyclopedia, he wouldn't even tell us where it was. We'd have to go find it, but then have to come back and then explain it to him. Because then he'd say, well, what did you learn? And then he'd question us about it, so it would extend our knowledge and then solidify what we learned in that. So I learned that, you know, if I'm going to learn something, then I need to turn around and then teach somebody.
That's
so
right.
that I become even more educated at what it is. So it did help me. Thanks, Dad. Even though I hated it, you know, you're like, oh, the encyclopedias again.
And that's a good thing, you know, because even with my 14-year-old, Granddaughter, okay, not mine, granddaughter, second generation. Yeah, she thinks she's my
She's
daughter.
yours. She's
Yeah, oh
really
my God,
yours.
she's there at my house, eating up my food, staying on my internet, all of that, But I tell her the same thing. We talk, and she doesn't know anything. I say, okay. We don't have the encyclopedias like we used to have at home,
But we got Google,
Britannica.
so
Yeah,
that's even better. I'm like,
so
man.
that's it. I tell her, go Google it. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You want to know, you go Google it. Because once you read it for yourself, then you can retain it better.
Right. And then on top of that, no one else can come back in and say, well, it's like this. You can be like, oh, no, that's not what I learned. I learned that it's this, and this. And you're
That's
coming
right.
from an educated standpoint, because then you can't let other people tell you what to think. And I think that's what's wrong with us, is that we need a literacy in just ourselves as adults. We think after we become 16, we don't got to learn anything anymore. But you actually still should. That's when you should be learning more. That's when you should be pushing yourself to learn more. And now that you don't have the teachers over you, you can learn you can expand your knowledge into what you love and dream and you're passionate about, which then funnels into everything that can make you a profit.
Yes, all right. Yep. And see, life itself is a teacher.
Right.
Every experience,
You either
everything.
earning or learning.
That's it.
That's what my daddy said,
That's
too.
It. Well, I tell you, this woman, like I said, she is so full of knowledge, so full of wisdom when it comes to the literary. Sylvia is award-winning. Okay, she is just not a local, literary agent, author. This girl has authored over, 50?
It's over 50 books.
50 books. Every time I see her, she's counting. And when she comes back again, she'll have 60, because she cranks out books like you bake cookies, Every time I see her, and her genre is romance suspense, but she has a following. I mean, at night she was saying that they up, waiting on her to drop whatever the information
that's so
is.
much fun.
Yeah, and she is a cliffhanger queen. So if you don't,
Right.
because she leaves them, like they're hungry
Well,
for
I
more.
just always say, like, my writing is more like, the frustrations in my life. So when I want to get it out, I just put it on paper. And I think right now I'm still in my frustrated high school, so I still got college, adulthood. So yeah, I'll probably be, by the time I die, 500 books in and still trying to write while I'm dying. Like, I just got to get this last frustration out,
Put
Lord.
all your books in there with you,
Right.
your pens, papers. Yeah, I tell her she's like the Sonya Rhimes of the movies. Yeah, she is. I told her that before. I don't know whether you ever
Aw.
thought about doing a movie score or something like that.
I like to write.
Yeah,
It's
but
so much fun.
I just think she's that good, and she has that many books and that many followers. She's just not local, international, people all over, because she has a great following. She has, as I said, over 50 romance suspense books. They're in more than 20 decades. She has been in more than 20.
Yeah, more than 20. I started probably in 1999 on
Wow.
until now. So it's 2 decades.
Okay, all right, because it said
Almost
20
a
here.
score. Is that 20?
Yeah,
Oh my
because I'm
God.
like, no,
I
wait a
gotta-
minute.
I look great. I
I'm
look
like, that's-
awesome.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I look awesome. I'm sorry about this.
I
2
just wanted to make
decades.
sure that's you sitting here.
I look awesome.
Want to know if this your ghost or just... Okay,
blood can be the
two
fountain of
decades.
life.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
okay,
2 decades.
2 decades, 20 years.
20
Okay,
years.
she has been in the literary business as an avid blogger, podcaster, social media manager, and digital strategist. She has received literary recognition for her work, and she has 8 #1 bestsellers. Speaker, literary encouragement, doula, and business mompreneur expert, because she knows all about clipping and couponing and all of that too. Oh God. And this fall she'll be releasing 2 more published works on Amazon and on her website, plus finishing her 3rd book with Kindle Vella serialization. All right. You can find out more about this amazing woman. We'll tell you where you can get her information as we go on in the broadcast.
Yes.
What a real story. I tell you, you have so much going on, so much that you're doing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, such a well of knowledge,
Even with the
really.
world closed, I was still busy.
I know, I know.
Oh. Yeah, it just got busier. Like, oh, good Lord.
So tell us how you got into the literary world.
Well, it was my mom. When I was little, I used to lie to her a lot, and then so she would make me write my lie down, and then come back to her and tell it again, and then that was after I got the first butt whooping, and then she would give me another butt whooping. So what I learned, two things, is that I learned people are not hurt by the lie; they're hurt by the extent of the lie. So it's not the lie that hurts us; it's the severity that they put into it, the work they put into it, of how much compared to how much you love me. Is you lied to me, and that's what hurts. And then number two, she taught me storytelling. Is that once you start building up a story, which in essence is a lie, you're a storyteller, then the more plots you can put in there is the more you can fool the reader into coming into your world and creating a great story. So thank you, Mom.
Okay.
My pain became my pleasure. I stopped lying. Probably why I don't have a lot of friends. And then on top of that, like it became more of an addiction that I must have. Like I must be telling like what if, or where can I find this information, or what happened after this. I always wanted to know that extent of information. And if I didn't, then I would start building on that story itself. So reading a lot of, hearing a lot of news, reading a lot of things, hearing about other people's stories, you kind of start figuring out the world on your own. And it becomes really interesting once you start getting out into the real world, because you're like, ooh, girl, I would never have that happen to me. But then you're like, what if? What if that did? What would happen if I didn't? And it really goes into, like, I guess a lot of people say, bad things have happened to me, but, I figured it out. I got out of it. And I think it is because of my storytelling abilities, is that, I was already contemplating plan A, plan B, plan ZZ, plan D1, D2, I was already going into those what if scenarios of figuring everything out. So I do have to thank my mom for engineering and creating and pushing me towards using my imagination more, at 6 and 7. And as it grew, and as I grew, I understood that this was going to be a part of my life. It's not, me writing is, I have to write. If I'm breathing, I'm writing. And that's how it is. So.
Wow. And so besides the writing, you do storytelling too as well, right?
I do now I do online storytelling. I do online storytelling, especially as I moved on to, as technology moved on, I would do storytelling on my website where people could come and listen to me like tell a story, or I would actually write the story, and then usually every other day or at least twice a week I would push a story out, a new chapter out, so people would come back and see what was going on in the story. Now I've moved over where Amazon has a new venue where we can do the same thing, and I can make money per chapter. So they pay me per chapter to read it, and it's actually quite nice. It's actually like a nice, you can buy premium gas. You don't got to buy the regular gas.
Okay, all right.
And
what is that called?
It's called the Amazon Kindle. It's called Amazon Kindle Vella series. So you can go there, you can look up my name, and then start instantly reading my story as I publish. I'm usually doing about 2 to 3 a week. 2 to 3 episodes a week, and people can come and see as the story gets bigger.
And they can see you?
Well, they don't see me. They just read.
Hear you.
They can read the work. They read the work, and then then I turn around on my Facebook every Tuesday. I come and talk about it, so people can ask me questions and tell me, why did I do that? Who did I kill? Like, okay, come on.
Your characters become. But her characters become like they're real, because when people meet her in the street or whatever, and they want to know, they want to know what happened to Jonathan, and what happened to Susan or whatever. Oh, I hate her.
But in my head, as I'm writing, it's weird because when you're doing it live, it gets kind of convoluted, because I could talk about my characters as if these are real people, but once I hit the end, then I go to the next person. Those people are real words. Those people are inside of a book. So it does become rather, especially in the writer's mind, those people have to be real because I have to know their emotions. I have to know what they want, what they desire as they go along on this journey and things are happening to them.
So you really get into the character.
It really gets into real. And I think that's why I probably don't have a lot of friends in terms of that because I have to live in reality because my brain is constantly making up stories that you got to be real. You can't be fake with me, and I can't have like people around me that are going to be like, not real with me. And I think my kids are like, they know that when they come to me, they have to come to me. We can't have any.
Be real.
Yeah, we have to be real. And I think,
absolutely.
I think as a mom, I've raised them to, okay, in this house, this is where you are. This is where you can be real with everybody and honest, and created a safe environment that, like, from the outside world to the inside world. Our house is our sanctuary, and this is where you can be yourself. You don't have to worry about getting hurt. You don't have to worry about anybody. We'll make fun of you because if you do something crazy, I'm gonna make fun of you.
Right.
But they know that in this house, we are secure in our love, and then if something happens, we all join together as a family and we make make people happy. So I that does reflect a lot of times in my own world, and I knew that was where I found my peace. Is in reality, I have to have reality around me in order to find my peace, so I can't have things around me that are not. So
I understand.
It keeps your circle small.
It does.
And it makes it makes the self-care moments really matter because you really realize, like, when you go out into the world, you do have to have a shield. You have to literally be like, God, please protect me from this, you know. And then you just, when you come back home, then you can just take it off and just be yourself. So that's I think that's the wonderful thing about, I don't know if it's just my life or anybody else's life, is that you have that veil and you can go out, and being a fiction writer is so much fun, that I can just immediately immerse myself somewhere else. I don't have to be here stressed, whatever, I'm making a story up about it,
Well, that's why you've done 8 #1 bestsellers.
Yeah.
Is
just
because
push it. You push it. And a lot of people say, like, a lot of times my stories will trigger them because they'll remember something, or they can't understand the character's position in it. And I try to bring stories to life that if you were in this situation, you're going to say you're going to do this, but in real life, this is what happens. And I've realized that about human beings as a whole. We'll be like, oh man, if this happened and she do this, I'm going to do this, and this is what's going to happen.
Already contemplating.
And people say, well, how would you know something about it? Well, I've worked Detroit 911, so I've heard the insanity of people being in situations, and it all goes like, it's supposed to go like this, and it goes like that, and you're like, okay, how did you get yourself out at 2 a.m. and you're supposed to go to church tomorrow morning? And wait a minute, I don't think the pastor say anything about answering your phone after 10 o'clock. Because we know only one thing open after 10 o'clock. So you should not be in this situation. And people I've realized as a human spirit, we choose to do what we want to do deep down inside when we think no one is looking. And a lot of people say that my books do trigger that, like, if I had
brings out the reality.
It brings out the reality of who you are, and I think that's what I want to do. Yes, in my books I'm trying to find, the happily ever after. But in situations when you are pressed for that moment in time and you think nobody is going to ever know, what decisions do you make? And that's when they say, that's when you find your real character. You find the real truth about yourself. And then in that truth that you find, you have a choice. You have an opportunity to either learn from it or fail from it.
Yeah, because you know what, and just right there when you said that, because we all make mistakes.
Yes.
And when we do, we have to own up to the mistake.
have to own up to your
and just
crap.
say, hey, you know, I messed up. How can I fix it?
Right.
And then let's go on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it will either make you or break you. And that's when people think,
it.
oh, when I get success, it's going to make me or break you. No, when you get your failures, that's what makes you and break you. Because if you can stand up from your failures and then go to success, you have become a whole new person. But if you get in that failure and you just let it keep coming and coming and coming,
Get
and
deeper and
you
deeper
get
and
deeper
deeper
and
and
deeper,
deeper,
then you understand, hey, this person is, you can get so low, you can't get back up.
Yeah.
And that's why they say, do get up. You'll be like, no, I don't want to get up because it hurts so much. You know what? God gave you two legs. If you can't use one, use the other.
Yeah.
Stand some kind of way so
Yeah.
you don't get ran over. So
Yeah.
I explore that option with my characters because I want to know, like, how far can you take the human spirit down and show people that no matter how far you get down there, you can still get back up.
So let me ask you, how long does it take you in terms of, size book, how many pages approximately do you write?
Well, since I write novels, I'm more of a novel person, so I'm more into more the 40 chapters or basically over 50,000 to 100,000 words. So more of a novel. It usually takes me, if I sit down and concentrate and I've had a lot of time to do it, it'll take me about 3-4 months to finish that book.
Okay.
And that's pretty, I didn't realize that was pretty good for for somebody because when people say, oh my God, I took 10 years, I'd be like, girl, what was you doing? Writing one letter a day? Like, so it's just, but like when I really get into a story, it's almost like it's playing in my head, and all I have to do is just write what I see or write what I'm feeling or imagining. I'm just like a fly on the wall in these people's lives, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
So when you're writing and you're in that,
Zone.
So you're in a zone, right? And so do you have like certain hours or certain times that you write per day?
No,
or, just trying to give the listeners some kind of idea of
being
how.
a busy mom, I learned how to write around the chaos. Yes. So as long as I could hear them, in the background, I could write. So once they started growing up and being more quiet, I learned I needed something in the background always going. So I could be, waiting for them to get out of school. I have literally a desk in my car, and I put the table up and put the computer up, and I just wait.
So you just use all of your
whatever.
time, your
if
idle
I got
time.
5 minutes here, because people will say, "Well, I can't sit down for 2 hours and write," and I'm with you. I can't sit down for 2 hours straight and write because I got things to do. But if I can do 2 hours, I can do like 20 minutes here. I can do 10 minutes over here. I can do 30 minutes, over here. On my break, I can get at least about 45 minutes. And right before I go to bed, 15 minutes. That was 2 hours of my day.
So do you use voice recorders or
I'll use voice. I'll use everything in my capacity. I have a Bluetooth keyboard that hooks up to my phone. I'll go and do voice recording as I'm driving, so it types up as I'm writing.
A voice recorder?
Yeah, you can do it like right on your phone. You just hit the microphone button. I'll open up the Google Doc, and then I'll start talking, and it'll just add to the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
That's a new tip. I gotta remember that one. Okay.
I have a digital pen, so if I'm writing somewhere, I can just write on anything in the digital pen or record it and then turn it to text later. I have everything at my resource to make sure. I even have a digital tablet to, like, when I'm on the road with my husband and we're doing long drives, I can just get and just start writing like that scene, and I just try to get through that scene. If I can just get through that scene, then we can go to the next part.
And she has a passion for writing.
It's kind of like when you smoke. If you're a smoker, you understand it. You automatically just find time in the day to smoke. And if you smoke a whole cigarette, that's 3 to 5 minutes a day that you got to think about smoking. So if they're smoking 24 packs a day, that's a lot of times to always be thinking about, I got to go take a smoke. So that's kind of how I think. I got to think of little times in my day where I can go and write and get to the next scene because I'm trying to just get to the scene. I do scene goals. So
Wow. So your genre is suspense, romance, suspense. So how did you come to specialize in the romance?
I have no idea. Oh, I can tell you how it started.
Okay.
I can tell you how it started. I was 12 years old and I was in the library as we usually were, and I walked by a Fabio cover, and that's telling my age because if anybody knows the Fabio cover, you're drop dead chilled. Like I must know what's inside of this book because Fabio was on the cover, and I mean, that was just like a gift from God. Like, you just looking at it. I was only 12 years old, and I was like, I gotta know what this man does in this book. And why is she on the floor at his feet like she want to be there? That was just strange to me. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta find it. But I took it up to the librarian, and she did her job. She was like, no, you can't read these books. You're too young.
Oh, okay.
And so I did what any Detroiter would do, and I stole it. So whatever. I returned it 20 years later, okay?
20 years later?
It was a good book.
Did they find you?
Girl, I left it on the counter and walked out. Whatever. You ain't gonna catch me like that. Whatever. But I took that book and it wasn't even just the romance. It was the way they fell in love and the emotions and the intensity of just bringing two people together out of the struggle of everything that was going around. And I was like, I want to make people feel like this when they read a book of mine. I want them to what if you? That's Fabio. Yes, that's
Oh my God.
That is a Fabio cover. He was
God.
on so many books back in the day. You see what I mean? Like, I'm 12 years old and I saw that and I'm like, who is this person? So it wasn't even that. It was just the intensity of falling in love and what the heart wants but then you got all the drama of home, you got things going on in your world, and bringing that all together, it was just fascinating to me. So, of course, being from Detroit, I love suspense and drama, and I just put all of it in there because I was like, what woman just automatically spends a weekend falling in love? What happened to the kids, the dog, the plants? Is anybody watering the plants? I wanted to know all of that. Like, what happens to the plants? Like, what happened to the cat? Who fed the cat? Right? Where did those kids go? Like, come on. So I wanted to write real romances that had to do, with our lives, like with faces like mine.
Now, do your characters get killed?
Some of them do. I have killed people before. Only in the book, though. I swear. I swear, only in the book. But
Oh my God.
so it's so much fun because
Oh my
I
goodness.
can just take it and that high school bully. Oh yeah, that's the name of the antagonist.
Oh my goodness.
We know what's gonna happen to him at the end.
Oh God, she kills them.
So it's like, I tell people, I make people fall in love, but
Sometimes they get killed.
Sometimes I do kill people, but
All
not
right.
necessarily in that order. So you
Right,
just have to
right,
read and find out.
right.
So, but it's so much fun because then on top of that, my dad was also a chemist. So in incorporating technology and science and
Okay, all of that in the book.
education, all
Okay.
in the book.
Okay.
It's just so much fun. I can become anyone. Like, one of my books was called Beautiful, and she actually spliced DNA. So I had to learn how to splice DNA. And it was so much fun, like learning about how to do that, because I had to incorporate that in the book. And along with that, then it was the love part, and then it was just, the family drama.
Yes. So, do you carry your characters over sometimes? Like,
Right, which is that's why I call it the literary world of Sylvia Hubbard, is because I'll have a cop in maybe book 2, and I
Okay.
can use the cop again in book 7 and book 8, and he'll
Okay.
have this. Of course, you know that he's trying to quit smoking, so when he comes on the scene, they'll be like, "Oh, you smoking again?"
Oh,
That means
okay.
he's stressed about something, and then they'll ask him about his wife, and things are going bad at home. So he has like an ongoing story throughout all these books, like, and
Okay.
then eventually by book 17 he'll have his own book, and you'll find out like why he has all this stress in his life and blah blah blah. So that's usually how it goes. It's like a character will get introduced, and then eventually you'll fall in love with this character, and then I'll like, he's got to have a book. They got to have a book. So
Wow.
so it's
So, the
much
queen
fun.
of the cliffhanger, that's kind of like explain to the audience what a cliffhanger is. So, for those writers, because I didn't know until I met Sylvia about the cliffhanger, so tell us a little bit about.
So a
cliffhanger.
cliffhanger is basically it is a high point. It is a high point in the story, and some people relegate it as okay. The car drives off the cliff, and that's what creates the cliffhanger. Is that what happened to the characters once the car drove off the cliff, and the screen goes dark. That becomes a cliffhanger. Well, you can have low and high cliffhangers, where, the person opens the door, who's at the door, and then the scene goes black. Or, you can. But it
Because
just,
it leaves you like,
but what creates what creates a great writer is that you've already initiated the cliffhanger at the beginning of the scene.
Okay.
That means when she walked into the room, she saw something strange. And then now she hears clicking, and now she smells something bad in the air, and oh my God, what was that boom? Then the scene goes dark. I already set you up by saying there was something strange when she first walked in the room, and then she opens up the closet door. Bam, scene goes dark. What was in the door? I've already set you up as once, and it's so nice because you can use this almost in any kind of way in order to build the story, because you want them to keep turning the pages.
you make people really think. I mean,
Yeah,
when they read your book,
I want you to think. I want
you gotta
to
really
be
think when you.
immersed. I want you to smell it. I want you to taste it. I want you to just love it. Like I am in
Like
this.
this
book.
is a movie on paper. I am
On pa-
sorry.
Right. What happened in the closet? What happened in the closet? Right. I love that. And then I love going to like career days and showing kids, we can just walk across the street. Your mom calls, time to come home. Let's walk across the street and go into our house. I said, but what if you get outside and it was foggy outside and you can smell the rain that had just happened, and then you smell this strange air, and you're walking and then you hear this clicking noise behind you, but you don't want to turn around, so you're walking faster and faster and faster, and then you feel something tug at your coat just as you put your key in, and then you close the door. And and the kids will be so immersed. I said, it's not
Because
just
I'm already like, okay.
it's not just walking across the street.
Right.
It's a feeling. You have to immerse them in there in order to make that cliffhanger just feels like, what was outside? And are you going back out there to check it?
Oh God! So
that's the fun part, and I think that the readers actually done me cliffhanger queen. So it was kind of like they kept saying that after every chapter, like, oh, Zoe, I'm flying to Detroit to come and make you tell me the story. Like, no, that doesn't happen.
they
like
gotta
that.
wait,
Yeah, they gotta wait like everybody else. So like even I am on edge, like when I'm writing it. Like I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah. Oh my God! And all it is coming out of her mind. Okay,
And
Can
that's
you
the
imagine?
fun part.
Yes.
That's the fun part, is that I can sit at home and be just entertained all by myself.
Oh my, the literary world. That's right. With the secret, what was it? Secret World of Walter Mitty. You remember?
Yes, right. He was in his own head.
I used to love that when I was a kid because his wife was a nag.
Right.
And he would go into this world of his own to escape her. And he had all this imagination imagination. You know,
all
that's
built
what the,
up on top of each other, and
Yes.
that's the fun part about it. And I think even Einstein said this, that imagination is more powerful than education, because it does, it actually, education is more like a cherry on top. Once you pour that down into it, it just blooms. Like, it's just so much fun. So
And you know, I think as adults, we a lot of times we lose our
lose it. We
imagination.
stop
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
And you know, and God wants us, you know, to have an imagination. You know,
He wouldn't have gave it to us.
that's right.
I'm
He
like,
wants us
use
to
it.
have an imagination about what can we do, and that's how you learn new things. That's how you take on new
That's how
projects.
you grow.
That's how you grow.
And
Exactly.
you have to grow. You got to remember, you are a human being. You are alive. You need to grow. You don't just stop when you become
Come
21.
on.
You have to continuously feed the brain, feed the body, in order to it to expand and stay healthy. And that's one of the things, is that you are gonna be growing a lot when you are feeding your imagination. So I encourage everybody, read a book, write a book,
Read a book.
then read a book some more and write
Right.
another book.
So, so are you on Clubhouse social media?
I am on Clubhouse.
Okay,
Yes, it's Sylvia
okay.
Hubbard 1. Like
Sylvia
everywhere
Hubbard
else. Sylvia Hubbard
Okay.
1. I
Okay.
love
What days?
I'm not on the, I guess, like, I'll jump into rooms that I like and then give my opinion and jump back out.
Okay, so you haven't created a room.
I haven't created a room yet.
Okay.
I'm kind of falling back because, I'm too busy. Yeah, right. I'm too busy writing. But on top of that, I'm on other social media platforms that, and I'm just kind of helping other people rooms. So people invite me into their Clubhouse, and, I'll drop a knowledge bomb and then leave
So
out.
give us, if you can, producer, some of her places where people can get in touch with her, because I know people are wanting to know, how can I get in touch with this lady? And I
Yeah.
want them to know, as many times as we can, because she is the person to know. All I can
Yeah.
tell you that I used to go to your Motown
Writers group.
writers
Yeah.
group on Saturday
We
morning.
still do it,
Are
actually,
you?
online.
Oh, okay.
We're on
Still
Facebook,
same time?
Same time, 10 a.m.
10
We still
a.m.?
come in.
Oh.
We have guests there. We just had Kimberly Batchelor Davis, and she
Yeah.
was so amazing. I was so glad she came for me. And then, we've had experts come in at 10 o'clock every Saturday. I didn't stop just because of the pandemic.
Okay.
I was like, okay, we just move it there. And a lot of people were already there, so I was just like, okay, let's have a live there.
Okay.
And that's what we do. You can always go back and look at the videos.
Yeah,
usually
because
have all
I'm
the
usually in
videos saved.
transition here, but when I was downtown, I would,
You
after
can
I got
always
done,
go back and
I'd
listen
run over.
to the replay.
Yeah.
So yeah, please go back, because we even had
They're
Dale.
on YouTube?
No, I've been pushing them on YouTube slowly, but you can go to the Facebook group and hit the
Okay.
video option. And every second Saturday, it's been a group meeting. And we especially had one at the end of the year. It was with Dale Roberts from Self Publish with Dale. And he just went in and told everybody what they needed to do to get into self-publishing, and how they can not make mistakes, and all the things that you shouldn't be doing and should. I mean, he really educated everybody. It was the best 45 minutes of.
So talk a little bit about that self-publishing. What is that all about?
So the self-publishing is when you decide to publish your own work. I usually say there's usually two stages of self-publishing. You can either be a DIY, where you wear all the hats. You pretty much, you can outsource your design, which I do. I always outsource your editing, but you ultimately get to choose between how the book looks, how the book is set up, and how the book is sold. So you become that DIY self-publisher from the beginning. And then there are self-publishers who uses literary services. That means they go hire someone to do all the technical stuff. They get a choice in how the book looks, how the book is set up, and things like that. But going about the terms of the pricing of how the book and where the book is distributed, that depends on how the literary services sets up their book. So there are two kinds, either both of them are choosing the self-publishing route, because they are putting the money in order to make it happen.
Okay.
No matter what, if you are, and if some people will mistake this, because then some literary services will say, well, you only have to put in half the money, and then we'll do the rest. Anytime you are putting your money into to publish your book, you are a self-publisher. Traditional publish is when they take it, and then you don't have to spend any money. No, I don't care if it's just to edit or anything. They take it and then they take the book and they publish it. So that's
And they
traditional.
make all the money, too.
They make all the money. You get a little bit of profit, but when you self-publish, you are making a bigger chunk of the money.
So you do all of the layout and all of that?
Yes, you do. Well, for me, I do everything. I pretty much have design. Only thing I don't do maybe is the editing, of course, and then I have put my hands into like a designer that I trust who does the book cover, and that layout, the wraparound for the paperback and stuff like that.
Okay.
I leave like all the technical, how big should the gutter be or the inseams of the book and everything like that. I leave all that little technical stuff to someone who knows how to do it. And I'm not sitting up there at night trying to do mathematical equations on how big everything should be. I don't want to have to do, because I'm a writer, not a mathematician.
Right. Okay.
And I trust other people to lay out the book, like the design of the book or how the book cover is going to be. I trust them to do it better than I would do it. And usually they'll give me 3 examples, and I'm usually trusting their eye better than my eye, because I'll fall in love with anything. It's like having a baby. I don't care how ugly the baby looks. It's beautiful. It's my baby. Whatever. I'm not gonna deny my baby, but if someone else comes to me, with another baby, I can be like, okay, that's not what I looked at for my baby. I think I want another kind of baby. So then I trust their eye. I trust the expert's eye, and especially for editing. I always tell people, I don't care what kind of degrees you have. I don't care if you have 2 PhDs in English. Let someone else edit, because they are your translators to your readers, and you're too close to the project. Like I said, your baby is ugly and messed up, and you still gonna say that's the most beautiful baby in the world. But when someone else comes in and says, hey, your baby needs a little work, and let's cut the baby hair a little. Let's put some lotion on these ashy elbows. Then you're gonna be like, oh, okay, and then your reader's gonna be like, oh, that's a cute baby.
You want a good product.
You want a good product, and you want that product to be able to sit next to a New York Times bestseller, and then the reader not know the difference, and then say, hey, your product even looks better, and I'm gonna pick you up. And then you're pushing the New York Times out of the way and becoming in that place. So that's how good you want to make your product. So it's a love of mine, and to see it as a book. And I encourage everyone, if you can do it, do it.
All right. All right. Well, listen, we're going to take a break, and we're going to play a clip in the break, and then we're going to come right back. And we do not want you to miss, because you want to hear the 5 mistakes authors make that makes Sylvia mad.
Right.
So I saw her on Facebook doing this, and I'm like, oh, let me get back to my page and do whatever that I have not done, because these are the 5 things that make her mad that we do as authors, and you want to know how to do it right. So we're going to take a break. We're going to play this clip right quick, and then we're going to come back and talk about these 5 mistakes. So stay with us.
Today, we're going to be going through a series that helps you get to engaging and grabbing readers and getting them to buy books. And this is the first part of the series. And in the first part, I'm going to be talking about making a plan. Now, most of the stuff I'm going to be grabbing from, most of the information comes from my 21st Century Marketing for Authors. You can grab a 4-book bundle, which includes this book. It's a limited time. I got the link below, and grab that so then you're able to get in on it and find out what we're talking about and having even more information than what I'm really saying to you. So grab that 4-book bundle in the link below. So making a plan. Now, we hear that word a lot, that's called target marketing, but it gets so convoluted, and so many people explain it in so many different ways. So what I'm doing is going step by step on trying to find your target market. If you don't know how, or you don't know who it is, then I'm going to help you start on the path to trying to gather that target market and understand them, so you can be able to get them to buy your book. So these are just basic steps that you can do in order to do it. Now, like I said, this one is called making a plan. And the first thing in order to get to that target market is to make a plan to find them. And basically your marketing plan is how your book is to be sold, and how your target market is to find your books. So the first thing, of course, get a planner, and then basically outline your promotion strategies. And how you do this is an easy way is to create a content calendar. So just print out an empty calendar from the programs. You know, you can print it out anywhere in your Microsoft Word or any Word formatting document, and then literally on each day make a plan. I was talking to a client, and how I suggested it to her, because she was like, well, what do I put in these boxes? What do I say? And I said, the easy suggestion I can tell you is to go to Pinterest and basically type in author content marketing strategies, and calendars will pop up. Or you can say author content calendars, and different calendars will pop up. Find 12 of them with things that you like, print them out, and pop them in those empty boxes for every month, and you have an entire month of content strategy that you can do. That's the easiest way I can tell you of how to make a marketing plan for yourself. And I mean, basically, once you stick to that schedule of every day I'm going to do whatever I put in this box, it gets easier and easier. Another great tip to keep to this plan that you have made is also use social media managers that can help you. So you can use things like Buffer or Hootsuite. You don't even have to pay. You can go for the free. I love using Buffer a lot because it also sends out to LinkedIn, and I also use Planoly, who sends out, and then I can also see my feed before I send it out to see what's to come, and make sure that I have a really good even feed going out on Instagram. So if you want more tips and more tricks on how to grab those readers as we go through this series of finding and getting our readers, getting a good target market and finding our target market, I'd love for you to join me. Make sure you subscribe. More to come. Don't forget to grab the 21st Century Author Marketing, so then you can follow along with me of the steps in order to get your readers. I really do appreciate you joining me. I will love for you to go to my website and also subscribe.
All right, how about that? Now, she has given you tips on how to get readers. Now, for every author out there that is listening and you want to know how to increase your audience, and particularly for those of you that intend to write again and you want to increase your readership, those people that will read your book and follow you as you go along in your authoring journey, make sure you get that information. Give it to them one more time where they can find that.
So you can go to, either way, you can always go to sylviahubbard.com,
Okay.
And then click on the book section, or just go to gumroad.com/sylviahubbard1.
Okay.
But either way, it's always there and around. And yeah, just go to my website, hit books, and then scroll down past the fiction books, and all the nonfiction books are right under there as well.
Okay.
I kind of make it as easy as possible so people can just click and go and
Okay.
leave me alone, and
All
so I
right.
can make more content.
Okay. All right. That's what she's all
I
about.
want to share, but
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Don't-
come
that's
on,
right.
let's get it
Don't
going.
take too much of my time, because I
Right.
can get back writing those fiction stories, those romance stories, and falling in love and all of that.
Right. But I found, like, over the years, a lot of people would like ask me questions over and over again, and then once that became like I was saying it repeatedly, I was
Right.
like, okay, let me just put it in a small book, or let me put it in a white paper, so then people can just download it and have the tips and tricks that they
Right.
need. And then, so like usually these books are created based on what people actually really want to know. Not
Okay.
just I'm just trying to feed you something. I want to make sure you are full when I feed you, and then you know how to learn from this and then go to the next project, to the next project. Even if you say you're going to write one book, you can take that book and do other things with
That's
it
right.
and still get a reader base to that initial book. And no matter what, like you said, you should be trying to get to that next book. You
That's
should be
right.
trying to get to that next project, that literary project, because you do want your readership to grow at all persons. If you tell me you only, people be so excited, oh, I sold 5,000 copies of my book. I'm so happy for you, but there are millions of people out there.
Or what about those that write books and then they don't sell them, or they just sit in the box? Okay, I'm talking to some of my people that are some of my authors.
That's basically why I did really start Motown Writers Network, is because it was a lady. She had just got divorced, and she was in probably about $500,000 in debt. She invited me out to her house, and I want to say this house was just beautiful. She got the house in the divorce, but she was about to lose it because she's like, I don't have any money. I don't have any money to keep the house. I don't have money to keep the car. And she took me out to her garage. It was filled with cases and cases of books
That she wrote?
that she had written.
Oh my
And
goodness.
she was like, I went and invested, and I got these books printed, and now I don't know what to do with them. Like
Stream of income.
and I was like, I was literally looking at about $2 million worth of books.
Oh my
sitting in
gosh.
this garage. And I'm like, you should not be. If I was a Christian author, I'm telling you, I would be in front of every church service when it got out. A table across the street with a Christian author on it. After every church service. So when y'all piling out at church, guess where y'all did? I need to come across the street and bless
buy
me.
my book. That's
I was literally in Detroit. Like, you could be on every corner.
And be out there when they go in and
Thank
save
you.
$20.
Hey, I know y'all
That's
got
a good
money.
idea, Sylvia.
If I was a Christian author, I would that's where I would be. I mean, you could have a book signing you should have a book signing every Sunday as
That's
a Christian.
a good idea.
That is impossible for you to be broke in the city of Detroit with all these churches. I swear.
Okay, Sylvia, so tell us your 5 mistakes that authors
I
make
even
that
have it
make you
written
mad.
down for everyone.
Okay, so I got them. Okay, because we don't have a whole lot of time, so I want to get to this. So we already talked about a planner.
Right.
That's one of the things.
That is one of the
Because
things
if you don't plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah,
Okay?
definitely.
And then having a posting link, which I get after my girls when we're doing the anthology, because I had to
Yes.
go back and look at all of mine. I said, oh, Sylvia, see this one, it didn't have a link. I'm in trouble. So.
Because closed mouths don't
Yes.
get fed. But even when you're saying that, you have to tell them what you want to be fed with. Like, this is where I want you to go to buy the book. And a lot of authors will put out, oh, I got a new book. I just published a book. I even saw this just the other day. I just released my book. This is the cover. I hope you can get a copy. And that's it. It's just like watching something and I want to buy it. Okay, I guess I can't buy it because I don't know where to go. You want me to work for you? No, you never want a reader to work. You want that reader to be like you at the Kmart checkout line.
Right.
And everything is there. Everything is already handy. I don't even want you to grab your purse. I'm going to send you to a link where your credit card is already there. So we just going to go bing, boom, boom, buy it. That's all. I
Okay.
don't ever, and men should already know this. Never give a woman time to think about her decision. Let her get out there, click that
Right.
link, buy it, and then that's it. You never, ever, ever have a reader go work for you in order to get your book.
So you have your either website or either your PayPal or whatever the link is to go to buy the book.
To buy the
Okay.
book. If it's
Okay.
the Amazon link, send
the
them straight.
Amazon,
And do
okay.
not just say Amazon.com. You send in somebody to, and send them to the direct link to hit buy.
Okay.
That
okay.
immediately it should say buy now, buy this, grab this, get it.
Okay.
Something.
Okay. All right. So you got that. You need a link, ladies and gentlemen, on your posts when
Yeah,
you post on
definitely.
any of your websites so people can go directly and buy your book. You don't always have to be in front of somebody to sell a book. People can still buy your book. You know, it's good to do book signings, but there's multiple ways that you can
You
sell
do
your
QR
book.
codes
But you
on-
just got to do
Yeah,
it.
it's so many ways. I saw one author, she literally had QR codes on the back of her book So on the back of her book card. So when you got the book, you saw the business card. It had her book cover. Turn it around. You could
scan it
with
and
your phone and then buy the book right there.
Great idea.
So she was out and about at a thing. We were just walking around, and she was just handing her book cards out. Like, you could immediately, hey, I like this.
That's a good idea. That's a way
yeah.
to advertise. Just give your book cards out with
Yes.
the scanner on it.
Buy the book right there.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank
Yes,
you. You can
yes.
get QR codes for free, literally.
Okay. So, updating your website.
Yes, your website should not be a billboard. And they used to say, like, if when you Google your name, your website should be the #1 listing. It should be. And they used to have in the suspense world, they have, if you want to hide a dead body, just put it on the 3rd page of Google, because nobody goes there. Literally, if you're not making your website active at least once a week, what Google considers you dead. So your
Okay.
website is dead to the world if you're not updating it. Your website should not be a billboard.
So let me ask you a question, because some people, have other people do their website. So how can you be updating? You need to be
Incorporate
a
a blog
admin.
into your number one. Your web. That's just like open up a business and giving somebody the keys to your store.
Okay.
Why would you do that? Why would you not be an admin of your website?
Okay.
And then on top of that, you should incorporate a blog. And on the blog, you can update them about your literary life, your book sales you got going on, a review that you had. This can be 52 times. It's 52 times a year. You can do something 52 times 500 words. Hey, today I got blessed. The Lord put $10 in front of me on the ground when I needed it. I was able to buy my favorite Popeyes. Woo, thank you, Jesus. That's a blog update.
Okay.
Constantly 52 times a year, you have to once a week update this blog, especially with your literary life. If you got an award, if I'm on this great Marketplace Connection show, I need to be updating my blog and letting people know, hey, come rewatch the show, watch the replay of it. That's something easy. If you're doing something once a week in your literary life, put it on your blog and let them know, and keep your blog updated.
Okay. All right. So let's see now. Book releases. Tell us without post graphics or no graphics.
You have to use, in this day and age, you have to have graphics for anything. And I did see this a week ago. Somebody just put in, hey, my book is available on Amazon.com. Check it out. That's all they had. It was a text. I barely saw it because I was scrolling through. And you got to remember, people are scrolling through social media. They stop at video and they stop at pictures.
Okay.
If you don't have either one, then no, they forget it. You're like that 3rd page of Google. You're dead to them. They don't see you. And then you're like, well, I told everybody. I posted it on social media. And I'd be like, okay, when did your book come out? Well, it came out in April of this year. And I was like, when did you make that post? Oh, well, I made it in April. So people are not reading posts from April. Did you post about it yesterday, day before yesterday?
Right.
You got to remember, this has to be an ongoing experience, because when was the last time you saw a repeat in your feed? Hardly ever. You hardly ever see, unless it's a popular subject or a popular title or a lot of people are talking about it. So you need to be putting out in a different way, not the same thing every time. Please, that's just like going around saying, buy my book. Okay, buy my book. Oh, did I tell you about my book? Could you buy my book? Just buy my book. Just buy my book. Could you buy my book? That is annoying. So find a different way to say, this is about your book. Incorporate it into conversations. Now, don't just be throwing it out there when it's inappropriate. You at a funeral and you're like, hey, this is a great inspirational read. That's inappropriate.
Okay.
So you want to try to do it in a good way, but make it great. And promotional graphics are very important.
Okay.
Video and graphics are the way to go. As you can see, even Instagram said they're not just a photo site anymore. They're going to be a photo and video site.
Okay.
So right now, if you are holding your phone, You have more technology in your hand than the people that slingshot the space shuttle to the moon. Like, you have like 20 times more power in your
Right.
hand. Use that technology. You have your own media center right in your hand. You have a photo, you have media, you have a TV show, you have a TV production studio right in your hand. Use it to the best of your ability and get yourself out there.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing that people have to realize, I think they think because, oh, I'm overdoing it, people don't want to hear it. It's a busy world out there.
Yes.
And there's so much noise out there in the internet, and you just have to be a player. You have to make up your mind that if you're in business, I mean, just like you said, if you're going to a store, the business owner can't come to the business every other day,
Right.
you know,
Right.
or once a week,
Right.
and you're in business, and so you have to think like that. And so if you have a book, for those of you that have a book, all of the things that she's telling you are things that you have to do if you
Definitely.
want to see your book become either a bestseller or if you want to sell books.
Thank you.
You know,
But you have to think it like this too. Even when you have great grandchildren, they will always know about McDonald's fries.
Yeah.
McDonald's will never have to put out another commercial in their entire life. And your great grandchildren. But McDonald's, how many commercials do you see a day?
That's right.
Of McDonald's. I don't care if you watch Netflix all day. Somehow McDonald's is gonna make sure you see advertisement about them. So if McDonald's is working hard every day to make sure that people see McDonald's every day, how hard do you think? And nobody don't even know about
Don't know you, right?
Guess how hard you have to. You have to work 20 times harder than what McDonald's is doing in order to get out there. So that's how and you don't
Okay.
even see how they do it in a different way every time.
Right.
You see about their fries, their parfaits, their hamburgers,
Okay.
whatever.
Now, number 5 is don't have a mailing list.
Oh my God! Please, that's your power. That's your money maker. Whenever I send out a mailer, I make my money right back from whatever I pay on my mailing list. I make money every time I send an email out. That's nice to know that. Like you could have 100 people. If every 100 people send you $1, that's a dollar. That's
So how do you make your
$100.
graphics right quickly? I mean, do you do your own graphics?
I do it. You can use Canva.com.
Canva.
It's so many graphic programs on your phone you can use. That's just, and if you have an iPhone, you should be just shot before not having good graphics, because they have so many programs and so easy to use that you can just become your own like graphic designer in a day.
right.
So there's no excuse why you should not have graphics. And then you can go on Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and then pay somebody $5 to make you like a couple of graphics every
Okay.
month and send those out. I even have a template that you like. If you go to my Gumroad store that I told you earlier, if you go there, you can download 5 free templates that you can use on Canva and just pop your book in. New book release, got a book. Then add your website and go from there. There's no excuse. There's so much out there that you should. But a mailing list is your power and is your money. You should be sending
because
out
that's
once.
really the only thing that you really kind of own, because Facebook, I mean, can go out anytime.
Right.
Or,
And that's how a lot of people say, well, how did these influential people get out there on YouTube? Or how did they become like number one? They didn't just become number one on YouTube. They became number one by sending out mailing lists and owning that list and being able to reach these people. A lot of times when I'm giving like sponsorship deals, or they'll send me like a bag or a camera, or they'll send me all this stuff to review, they know I'm going to do something on my mailing list and send it out, and they make more money by sending me this expensive bag and me showing it off to my viewers and saying, hey, click the link below. They're going to make money because they sent me that bag. I'm going to make money because you clicked on that link, and then thank you very much. I love this bag too.
all right. Well, you heard it from the literary queen. It has been so, just so rewarding, and all of the things that we need to have more than one show with Sylvia, because I tell you,
Part 2.
Yeah, we need a part 2.
Coming this fall.
Because she is so full of information. And tell them again, and put it on the screen how they can follow you on your Facebook or any.
Great. So you can always go to my website at sylviahubbard.com. I have all my social media links right in the corner. But on my social media, if you go on any social media link, it's Sylvia Hubbard 1, and that's the number 1. So it's easy to find me on almost any social media. That's all I am.
SylviaHubbard1.com.
No, just Sylvia Hubbard 1 on social media.
Social
but
media.
At my
And the other one is Sylvia
website
Hubbard.
is sylviahubbard.com. My
Okay,
website is
sylviahubbard.com.
definitely sylviahubbard.com.
Well, I tell you, this has been so impactful, so much. I have learned so much and always learn so much from this woman. I
You.
follow her. And if you're not, if you have an opportunity on Saturdays, you said the second Saturday?
Second Saturday at 10 a.m. we meet
Second-
on Facebook.
Okay, on Facebook. Okay, so follow her there. You'll learn she has guests. She has people to come in to speak, and and if some of you all want to go into speaking, after your book has been written and you can take it to the next level, she has speakers there. So you'll learn so much just joining up with Sylvia, because she is so full and knows so many people that can teach you a lot about the literary world. Well, I thank you so much for joining me this morning.
It's an honor.
And educating me as well, and spanking me as well, because there's some things.
No, you just be going like
That's
this.
right.
Oh,
There's some things that I'm like, oh my God, I got to do. But I thank God for this woman, and I thank you all for listening. Hopefully, if you didn't get a chance to hear the whole broadcast, please go back and do the replay. Click and share with other people so they can know about the literary world of Sylvia Hubbard and all of the things that she's doing. Okay, and if you are also workshop facilitator.
Yes, workshop
So I've had her
facilitator, career
at
speaker.
workshops before.
Yeah.
So if you want to, and you want to invite her out to your workshops, please get in touch with her, and she can come out and she can do a workshop for you.
Dropping knowledge.
Okay, all right. Well, this has been the Marketplace Connection. It has been wonderful, and we have had a wonderful time talking with Sylvia Hubbard. And so we will see you again next week, and we want you to have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye. Stop looking in the rearview mirror of life filled with regrets. Stop regretting life with I woulda, coulda, shoulda before it's too late. Live life on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose.
Get your copy of Living and Loving Life Without Regrets by going to any of the various retailers listed on the screen.